Fantastic. Thank you very much. Wonderful. So what I'm going to do now is ask you to just find a comfortable seat, as we always do. Much of the time that we find ourselves, if you're getting more used to checking in with your body and really listening to the messages it's trying to tell you, you'll notice that there are times when you might feel a little bit constricted breath, like you're just not breathing fully and openly. And a lot of times if you look within to figure out why, you'll notice it has to do with your posture. Obviously, if you're hunched over, you're collapsing your lungs, you're compressing them into the ribs and the diaphragm. There's no way that you're going to get full breaths. So you want to throw your shoulders back, right? This is why the trainers are always trying to get you to exercise those shoulder and back muscles. Because if you can strengthen those, that's your posture right there. And you will not become one of those people that you see sometimes walking on the streets, hopefully not ourselves, who, you can actually spot them. Often I've seen men, I'm not sure why men more than women, but I've noticed they'll actually kind of be leaning forward, right? Tall, true north posture with kind of the wing bones squeezed together, the shoulders back and away from the ears. That's what we're looking for in meditation, that upright posture. So find that, root down into it, make sure that your sit bones, meaning your tush, grounded in the chair, your hands in a comfortable place, your feet in a comfortable place, your body kind of relaxing into the chair. And we take deep breaths just to ground ourselves in this moment. Oh yes. Remember, whenever the mind is racing, just ground yourself physically. If you're standing, into the ground itself through your feet. If you're sitting, into the chair. The moment you're concentrating on your physical self, you're taking your attention away from the mind, and it will follow attention into the body. So just do that to take away from the racing mind. Rooting down, connecting the breath, and listening to this beautiful song, actually prayer in song. You are the one for the sunlight, I have the strength to be your
Nobody can hear this.
There's no sound.
I can hear.
No sound.
It's very, 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 very faint and some technical issues. It's going in and out.
No sound at all.
I hear you speaking, but I don't hear.
So none of you are hearing the music. Is that what I'm hearing?
Correct. Correct. I'm hearing you.
Okay. I'm not sure exactly why that is happening, but I'm going to try and figure that out. Hold on one second. Okay. I'm going to see if
Now we can't hear you.
We've lost you.
We can't hear you.
Efrat, it's Lila. Good. Efrat, it's Lila, go ahead.
No here, Rabbi Ray. No yet.
Got it.
You are the one, for this I pray, that I may have the strength to be alone, to see the world, to stand among the trees and all the living things, that I may stand alone and offer prayers and talk to you. You are the one to whom I do belong. And I'll sing my soul, I'll sing my soul to you. And give you all that's in my heart. May all the foliage of the fields, all grasses, trees, and plants awaken at my coming. This I pray, and send their lives into my world of prayer, so that my speech, my thoughts, and my prayers will be made whole, and through the spirit of all growing things. And we know that everything is one, because we know that everything is you. You are the one, for this I pray. I ask you, God, to hear my words that pour out from my heart. I stand before you, I like water lift my hands to you in prayer. And grant me strength, and grant me strength to be alone. You are the one to whom I do belong. And I'll sing my soul, I'll sing my soul to you. And give you all that's in my heart. You are the one, for this I pray, and I'll sing soul to you.
Not hearing you, Efrat.
Rabbi, I can't hear you. You're on mute.
I can't hear you. We cannot hear you.
Efrat, you have no audio.
We're unmuted.
No, no sound. We cannot hear you. No sound.
Perhaps go out and come back in for another session.
Efrat, if you can hear me, it's Lila. Go ahead and leave the meeting and come back in. And maybe it'll reboot you.
Or maybe just do before you did the song, you did something so for us to hear the song. So now,
Let's see how we do. Okay. So hopefully that was, I'm not sure how much of what you heard.
You have to start after the music.
Yes.
Beginning.
Well, so we are finished with the music. Whatever happened with the music happened. And I'd like to continue with the theme of today. And that theme today is really looking at the notion of oneness. What kind of world we live in. And as I explored last week, when we look outside, we see multiplicity. When we look with our eyes, we see diversity. We see discrete things and we label them and we call them by name. This is a tree, that is a fence. Someone else is a person. This person has this name. That person has that name. We look at people's complexions and we say, this is a white person and that is a black person, and so on and so forth. But what every mystic in every tradition across the globe will tell us is that all of that is merely a facade. That the notion of diversity and multiplicity and difference is how things are expressed in our physical world. But underneath it all is a unifying oneness. And that unifying oneness is what every mystical tradition will label God. And that is the oneness that we're going to explore today. I'm going to start with a reading by Rabbi Jill Zimmerman. What a journey you and I are on right now, together. We have had trips canceled, weddings postponed, jobs lost. We have had holidays and funerals over Zoom. We walk outside with masks. Not only have we removed events from our calendars, but we have also had to shed the skin we have had until now. When this is all over, we will be new people, honed and changed by this experience of separation and new kinds of connection. This will not be a journey that ends with, quote, going back to normal. Normal will have to be rethought. As humans, when this is over, hopefully we will emerge wiser, more self-aware, and more grateful. Perhaps essence and simplicity will have a new meaning. I don't know about you, but the journeys that have been thrust upon me and not chosen are the times I have learned the most about myself. Such as strengths I didn't know I possessed. I learned about what I could do without and what was essential. Traditionally, in Jewish time, the 7 weeks that follow Pesach are a time of collective and individual journey. We leave the narrow place of our slavery and walk into freedom. But it's not so simple. We complain and we argue. In the desert, challenging leadership is an everyday thing. Additionally, so much is unknown. We swim in a sea of uncertainty, kind of like now. However, as we arrive at the foot of Mount Sinai, the place where wisdom is revealed, we unfold, we open, we receive. The seeds for a new life with vision and purpose and unity have been planted within us. This is the possibility that awaits us as we navigate the unknown. The parallels are astounding to what we are currently going through. In the ancient story, we fall down and we get back up. If we remain awake, the opportunity of unfolding into the new world begins right now. It starts by making choices today about what energy you would feed and by committing to the deeper path of discovering what is essential in you and to you. So right now, I'd like to ask everyone if they would take a moment and using the chat function on your lower screen, look at the word chat, which sort of has that cartoon voice look to it. And I'd like to ask you to please write whatever you can remember of the definition of mindfulness meditation that we've gone over many times since the beginning, or that you might be familiar with from some other context. Just write down, if someone asked you, you're going to this Meditation Mondays class, what exactly do you do there? What is meditation mindfulness, or what is mindfulness? Write down a brief few words, a sentence. What is mindfulness to you? So let's take that moment to do that. So Some people are writing the words, the reassurance to be in the now, in the now, in the present, finding oneself inside. For some people, mindfulness is weeding out what isn't essential. Purposeful focus on the now, the present, and reflecting inwardly. Focus as another word. Paying attention to the present moment with intention, without judgment. That's the classical definition, right? Be in the moment, pay attention, contacting one's inner core, and as a result, the result of this is relaxing the mind, the result. So if you were going to give an actual textbook definition, one would say that it is paying attention to something in a particular way on purpose, in the present moment, non-judgmentally, with kindness if possible. So what you're doing is you're simply paying attention. You're focusing, as so many of you wrote so beautifully. And you're doing it purposefully. You're paying attention to the present moment of now, not to the past, not to the future. And then certainly whatever comes up, right? What you're looking at, you're trying to look at it non-judgmentally. So for some of us, we may be able to keep our attention on the now. We're looking at that tree outside my window, for instance, and I think, beautiful. But beautiful is already a label. I mean, it's a good label, it's a kind label, but it's certainly a label. So imagine just accepting tree as tree. Another possibility that might come in would be a planful thought, like, oh, I need to trim that tree, or gee, that tree isn't looking so healthy, or, all kinds of already mapping, judging, planning, thinking going along with that. So even as we're looking at something in the present moment, we can actually be judging it. And that's not even counting the fact that we could be looking at the tree, and as we're looking at the tree, suddenly into our minds comes the conversation that we had with our daughter-in-law, and then, woo, the brain spins out of control and starts rehashing that conversation, and whether it was good, whether it was bad, what did she mean, what did that mean, and all the other kinds of things that our minds do. So those are two of multitudes of possibilities that can happen while practicing mindfulness. And the trick isn't necessarily that you're going to be able to control your mind at every moment. In fact, it's virtually impossible. As I mentioned to you before in another meditation Monday, when I asked my teacher, who had spent literally 10 years in a Zen monastery meditating, he said to me, I said to him, how long can you go when you're meditating without having some sort of a thought arise that you need to bring yourself back to meditation and mindfulness? He paused and he said, I think about 12 breaths. And I thought, wow, only 12 breaths? Woo, that's not impossible. I could get that far. So meaning even master meditators are people who are constantly having extraneous thoughts and bringing themselves back. In other words, the trick isn't to never have extraneous thoughts in mindfulness meditation. That you're going to have. It's the ability to say, Tashuv barachamim, come back with compassion, not beating yourself up, oh, there goes my mind again, but rather that's part of the process. Oh, and then just come right back to the breath, right back to the present, right back to paying attention to something in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, non-judgmentally, with kindness if possible, which allows us then to discover deeper truths, to quiet that crazy mind, and to just find some stillness and rest in our busy lives. So now I'm going to read to you a story that was written by Rabbi Mitch Cheffetz from the book, The Curse of Blessings. And it's a story called The Mikubal in New Jersey. It's a new way to appreciate the Shema. And when we finish, I would like to sing the Shema, but very, very slowly. We'll sing one word with each breath. So it becomes a breathing meditation as well as a prayer. So remember that at the very end. Please close your eyes and get very comfortable in your chairs again, rooting down. If you're not comfortable closing your eyes, you can certainly lower your gaze and sort of let it unfocus. So you're not really staring at any particular thing. It's just that fuzzy, open gaze of seeing, not seeing. I'm going to try again to use my headset, so hopefully you'll be able to hear me more clearly, but if it doesn't work, I will take them out. And we'll be okay.
Let me know if you can hear me. So, Becky, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Great, super. So, this is the Mikubal in New Jersey. Again, take a deep breath in, hold it slightly, and now let it out. And let the emptiness remain for a moment, and then take another deep breath in. Hold it slightly, and then let it out. And let the emptiness remain. Continue to breathe evenly like this throughout the story as I urge you all to listen. There was once a Mikubal who was the head of a school in Brooklyn. A Mikubal is a Kabbalist, and a Kabbalist is a person who has mastered the foundational texts of Jewish tradition, the Bible, the Talmud, and the Zohar in that order, and who has learned how to understand these texts on the many levels that they are understandable. And then that person attained a significant refinement of his soul, his mind, and his entire ego. All of this in order to answer a simple question with finer and finer resolution. Where do I go from here? This Mikubal was known to have a particular skill, the ability to remove a person from his or her body, so that person might attain a more objective view of the world and its purpose. Such a teacher has many students. One morning, after a 40-day period of deep meditation, the teacher gathered his students to announce that he was leaving the school to become the rabbi of a liberal congregation in an affluent suburb in New Jersey. The students were shocked beyond speech. Well, anyone can do what I do here, the teacher explained. With students like you, it's easy. The real challenge, the real test is to see if what I do here can be done in an affluent suburb in New Jersey. But Rabbi, they protested, within a few months, you will be miserable. There's no one for you to learn with in that community. Still, said the rabbi, I have to go. It's not my decision alone. So what choice did they have? They accepted their teacher's path, and they wished him farewell. The teacher moved with his family to New Jersey. Within a few months, he was indeed miserable. The people in the community were not only devoid of learning and empty of prayer, but valued neither. Why am I here? He asked. To teach, came the inner response. Why else would you be here? To teach whom? The rabbi asked. Well, that's for you to figure out. So the rabbi called the president of the congregation. Next Sunday morning, he said, I would like to speak to every member, every man, woman, and child. Well, never before had such a request been made. The president, eager to please his rabbi, sent out the word by mail, by phone, texting, and so forth. The next Sunday, the gathering in the sanctuary was greater than the most holy of days. Every seat was taken. Additional chairs were set in the aisles, along the walls, and even then some were standing. The rabbi began with a teaching, beginning with Hebrew words. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. Those were the central words of Jewish teaching about God, both from the Bible and the prayer book. You are not ready to use the words Lord or God yet, the rabbi said. So when I teach you how to chant, we'll use the sounds la 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 and la 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 instead. And then when we're ready, we will use Adonai Eloheinu, the Lord is our God. Well, the community listened to the teaching and then began to chant with the rabbi. Hear, Israel, la la la, la 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 la, la 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 is one. Well, the community had never chanted anything before, and the la 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 seemed silly. But they followed instruction, and after a few minutes, the chanting built in energy and began to reach an intensity the community had never before experienced. 10 minutes they chanted, then 20, then 30. Stop, said the rabbi, enough. For those both seated and standing, it wasn't enough. But they followed instruction and they stopped. Enough, the rabbi repeated. Go home, just go home. A murmur of confusion rippled through the community. An uneasy rustling as people stood, turned, and left, questioning. Within a few minutes, the sanctuary was empty of everyone except the rabbi and one small person, a little girl who walked up to him and said, What did you do that for? What do you mean? The rabbi answered. We were enjoying that. I was enjoying it. It was fun. More fun than anything else I've ever done here. And besides, you never let us use the name of God even once. La la la, la 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 la. What's that supposed to mean? It doesn't mean anything, the rabbi said. The purpose for this isn't for you to have fun. If you aren't ready yet, and you aren't ready yet to use the names of God. What do you mean, I'm not ready? The little girl asked. Do you really want to know? The rabbi replied. Yes. Do you really want to know? The little girl heard the really. Stories were told about this rabbi that he could take a person out of the body. Yes, she said, surprised she had said it. I really want to know. All right, then sit down right here. She sat in the front pew. Close your eyes. She closed her eyes. Don't forget to breathe. Ooh, she had been holding her breath as if somehow she were underwater. So she opened her mouth, breathed in, and breathed out. This won't hurt. And before she had time to think about it not hurting, she felt a little tug. You can open your eyes now. So she opened her eyes. The rabbi was standing right in front of her. What do you see? He asked. Oh, I see you, she said. She looked around. I see the sanctuary. She looked behind her. And I see me sitting there in the front row. And she looked at herself sitting with her eyes closed. I'm smaller than I thought I was. You know, the rabbi said, when you're out of your body like this, you don't have to stay here standing on the floor. You could go right up to the ceiling. And she looked upward and began to float towards the ceiling. What do you see? The rabbi asked. She looked down. You, looking up at me, and me, sitting there with my eyes closed. You know, the rabbi said, when you're out of your body like this, you don't have to stop at the ceiling. You can go right through the roof. She looked upward, tested with her finger. Whew, it went through the ceiling. Her arm followed, and then the rest of her, and she found herself above the trees, floating in the air. What do you see? The rabbi asked. Oh, the parking lot. It took her a moment, but she found it. Oh, my house. She lived only a block away. The roof of the sanctuary. She could see the roof. And you looking up. And a tiny little me sitting in front of you. You know, the rabbi said, when you're out of your body like this, not only can you go up to the ceiling and through the roof, you could go higher, right up to the clouds. She looked upward. To look was to go. She was as high as the clouds. What do you see? The rabbi asked. New York was the first thing she saw. And the ocean. Oh, mountains. Oh, down there is my house somewhere. And a tiny, tiny me. You know, the rabbi said, when you're out of your body like this, not only can you go up to the ceiling and through the roof and up to the clouds, you could go higher still if you like, right to the edge of the atmosphere. She looked upward, and again, to look was to go. Out she went, way beyond the clouds to where the sky became black instead of blue. She turned around and looked down. What do you see? The rabbi asked. It was a while before she could answer. What she saw took her breath away. She reminded herself to keep breathing. I see the curve of the earth, she whispered, and the blue ocean, and white clouds, and the mountains, and tiny, tiny cities. She couldn't find her own city. She began to tremble, and way down there, somewhere, is a tiny, tiny me. You know, the rabbi said, when you're out of your body like this, not only can you go up to the ceiling and through the roof and up to the clouds and out to the edge of the atmosphere, if you like, you could go to the very center of the universe. She thought about that. To think was to go. She followed her thoughts out through the solar system, by Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, out of the solar system through the galaxy, out of the galaxy through clusters of galaxies to the very center of the universe. And after a long time, she heard the rabbi's voice, barely a whisper in her mind. What do you see? She didn't know how to answer. What do you feel? That she knew. I'm afraid, she said. Why are you afraid? Because I have no idea where I am and no idea how I'll ever get back. When you're ready to get back, the rabbi whispered, just ask. Ask whom? But there was no answer. The little girl floated at the center of the universe and thought she might disappear. Not knowing whom she was asking, she whispered, would you please help me? I don't know where to go or how to get there. And instantly she felt a breeze, so gentle, moving her ever so slowly at first, and then faster, by the clusters of the galaxies, right into her galaxy, by clusters of stars to her star, down through the planets by Saturn's rings and the moons of Jupiter to her own moon, down into the atmosphere, softly through the clouds, just above the trees, feet first through the roof, down, down, down into her body. She opened her eyes and found the rabbi in front of her. What did you learn? He asked. She thought about that question. I learned how small I am and how truly big the universe is. What else did you learn? The rabbi asked. I learned how awesome the creator of such a universe must be. And what else? I learned that as awesome as that creator must be, and as tiny as I am, that creator still cares for me. Good, he said. Now you are indeed ready to use the name of God. And together they sang. And please sing with me. Israel. Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. And let's just sit for a few more moments in the silence of one. And now I'd like to ask all of us to gently open our eyes a little bit, but to also stay in that state of meditative awareness. And we are going to end our class with the chant from last week, and hopefully this will help you learn it even further. And that is, it's from Devarim, Deuteronomy chapter 4, where it's written, "So you might know that the Lord is God, there is none else. Adonai hu ha-Elohim, ein od milvado." And the chant again goes like this, and please try and remember it. It's actually a beautiful, beautiful rhythm for a walking meditation. So if you like to walk with a kind of a rhythmic chant or music, then this is a really great tune for perfect walking rhythm, especially if you want to go a little bit slower. Ein od milvado, ein od milvado, Adonai hu ha-Elohim. Ay, 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 Einod, milvado Einod, milvado Adonai, hu ha-Elohim. Ay, 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 Einod, milvado Einod, milvado Adonai, hu ha-Elohim. Ay, 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 Einod, milvado Einod, milvado Adonai, hu ha-Elohim. Ay, 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 Einod, milvado Einod, milvado Adonai, hu ha-Elohim. Ya, 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 Einod, milvado Einod, milvado Adonai, hu ha-Elohim. Ay, 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 Einod, milvado Einod, milvado Adonai, hu ha-Elohim. Ay, 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 Einod, milvado Einod, milvado Adonai, hu ha-Elohim. Ay, 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 Einod, milvado Einod, milvado Adonai, hu ha-Elohim. Ay, 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 Einod, milvado Einod, milvado Adonai, hu ha-Elohim. And with that thought in mind, we continue with our week, remembering that underneath all of the multiplicity, all of the diversity, all of the differences that our senses point out to us on a soul level, deeper down than even our senses can touch, we know there is nothing other than Adonai. And so I leave you with one quote from Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav, from his wonderful collection of his sayings, The Empty Chair. And he wrote the following: growing spiritually can be like a roller coaster ride. Take comfort in the knowledge that the way down is only preparation for the way up. So, everyone, it's great to see you all again. And thank you for being with us. And please, if you haven't taken a look at Melton's summer classes, please go online to caje-miami.org and click on Adult Learning, and that will take you to summer courses where I hope you'll find wonderful offerings that will support your soul all through the summer. We have 4-week classes in very interesting increments throughout the summer, and I'm sure there's something there that you'll see. And also next week is supposed to be our last Meditation Monday, but if this is something that you'd like to continue, please write in the chat or write to Rabbi Haas or Carla Spector if you are interested in continuing after the 18th next week. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all next week and wishing you wonderful, wonderful week ahead. So thank you again. Take care. Bye, everybody.